Hey, what's going on? This is KLA. So, I'm sure you know about this girl. Her name is Cheyenne Gabriel. And, she's the girl that, you know, she felt uncomfortable being on stage with Usher. So, Usher kind of gave her the boot. It was discovered through an interview. She was talking with TMC that she was expecting to be on stage with Chris Brown, and she didn't really know, and so she volunteered to go on stage. She asked to go on stage, and so she went on stage. I mean, my thoughts on it when I first seen it, I was like, well, she didn't really have to be on stage. Why did she go on stage? And that's Usher's thing. He's freaky on stage with ladies like that. But she didn't feel comfortable, and so he just let her walk off the stage. That's it. I know a lot of people, they talked about it. You know, so of course Usher fans was really pissed. Yeah, they questioned her like why she went on stage if she didn't want to participate, and there were people that was defending her, and they said that they felt that she did the right thing. She was being what was the word? What, conservative or something like that? She's having class of not you know going, not engaging with the performance. You know, but that wasn't entirely the case. She was expecting to see Chris Brown. So yeah, she wanted Chris Brown instead of Usher, from what I understand, and she didn't get that. She got Usher. Yeah, as I was watching the video of Usher singing to the girl, it was one point he was grabbing her hand, and she moved it, slowly moved it. And so I seen that. I was like, okay.
Why weren't you into it?
It wasn't that I was into it. I was approached first and upgraded to VIP, and they don't give you any instructions on who, what, when, where, or how.
They didn't tell you they were going to pull you on stage?
They told me that it was a possibility of me going on stage, but they didn't confirm that until it was closer to time for me to go on stage. And of course, you're getting to go up on stage. Why would I decline that? People are pulling the narrative that I'm in a relationship or whatever the case may be. No one can tell me the reasoning as to why I said yes to getting on stage, but you also don't know who you're going on stage for or with.
I'm going to kind of pick up what you put down there. You said, I didn't know who I was going to be pulled up on stage with. The way I see it, there are two people. There's Usher and there's Chris Brown. And that means that you were banking on Chris Brown and you got Usher, and you would have been more into it with Chris Brown. Am I reading this right?
Me solely, I went to the concert for Chris Brown. It's nothing against Usher or anything like that, but I'm more of a Chris Brown fan than I am of Usher. So of course, it would have been a different reaction with Chris Brown. It wouldn't been the stiffness or whatever there's the internet is portraying.
So you, after what happened. Some of the fans were getting on you, saying you shouldn't had no business being on stage. I thought your response to them was interesting. You explained that their team approached you and moved you to VIP before the show even started, and then you said, "Pretty privileges, something you hoes will never know about."
That post specifically was directed towards my city.
We love you to death, but shit, it's time to get freaky in this motherfucker. I mean, the girl will come out and say, "Boys, you need two, right? Just two tonight, right? Just two. All right, so look, you got one over there. Yeah, I'm looking. And you look over there. Bet. All my section ladies extra noise tonight. Hey, you know, don't get up on this motherfucking stage either. If your husband or your man brought you to this show, this is not for you, goddamn. I don't know, Reed. That make it a little bit more interesting. I'm not having to fight a nigga after the show. All I said, lady, make some noise. I don't want no more Jim. No more Jim. Hey, well, hold on. I got a different dynamic, you know. You gotta have something to lose because I'm married too, baby. All my family want to make some noise tonight.
I mean, she was the talk of the week, man, to a point where dudes pretending that they with her, making AI. Yo, yeah, she got some fans. Pretending that they with her.
Wait a minute. I thought you wanted me to come on the stage to lead praise and worship. I thought you wanted me to come up here to set the captives free. I didn't know that it was going to be this. Now, if you want people to be delivered and set free, that's what I'm up here for. I don't know what this is.
I don't think she want to be on the stage.
Oh, I wanted to be on stage, but I come to set the captives free. Deliver right now. Set them free right now. Hey, give me a sheet. Give me the white sheet. Give me. Give us the glory.
Yeah, I just put this in there. I just thought it was funny. Yeah, I get what she's saying. You know, instead of getting on that girl for making decisions she made, let's talk about Usher wanting somebody to be on stage and doing the freaky. I get it. So enough with that. Yeah, there was another news that was popular this week. The actor David Johnson will be cast as Prince T'Challa's son in Black Panther 3. And yeah, there were people that wasn't really feeling it, but there's people that was for it. But other than that, you know, it made me wanting to see Wakanda Forever that came out in 2022. You know, for some reason I wasn't itching to see it, but you know, I guess that the news of the Black Panther 3, I decided to watch it. And yeah, you know, one thing that stood out for me was the women. You know, the women was dominating in this movie. You know, it was like, I looked at it as like a Wonder Woman of Africa. You know, they're like they were like the Wakandians were like the Amazons of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like the women had the lead in the movie. You know, like the men were like playing the role as the women, while the women were playing the role as the men. Like the lead, they were more of the leader. And you know, they was going up against Neymar, and you know, I think that's the only man that stood out in that sequel. Well, him and the actor that played Umbaku, you know, but Umbaku, he ain't really do. He was like he was like behind the women in the movie. I mean, the women were the leaders in the movie. You know, it was just about the women. That's how I was seeing it. I didn't think it was that bad. Like, you know, it was watchable. You know what I'm saying? Like, the movie was watchable, so I seen it. You know, but I kind of understand. You know, when it came out, you know, people had complaints about it. The movie had elements of feminism. There were things that didn't really entirely make sense. There were also elements of minority disputes with the Wakandians and the Mexican Atlanteans. I forgot what they called in the movie. Yeah, man. I wish they'd have recast the Black Panther for the sequel. The actor Chadwick Boseman, he passed, and they some people felt that they didn't want a recasting of it. What I'm saying, a lot of people was saying it. So, but I think it would have been better if somebody were recast as T'Challa. Sure, they could have found somebody, man, to play T'Challa for Wakanda Forever. Yeah, but that's about it, man. I finally see Wakanda Forever.